Well, hello and welcome back to the Tin Barn. I'm Pragmatic Lee, and today's video we're going to start on a project that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it involves my horizontal bandsaw. This is not the Harbor Freight one. This one came from Agri Supply, which I think is pretty much the same one, just a different color paint on it. Since I had this, it had been in the other part of the shop that's behind me here that I don't have a finished floor on. It's just got a gravel floor, and I was never happy with the stand to begin with, but in there on that gravel floor, being a bit unlevel, the little feet that was under it just simply gave out completely. They just folded up underneath it. And what I did while it was sitting over there, and after I moved it into this part of the shop, I moved it in here after I built the addition on and closed the addition on. As you can see, I've got it set on some blocks now to try to compensate for the loss in height of the back wheels and these front feet being off of it. But I've never been satisfied with the height of that. If you might have taken note in my other videos, I just don't like to bend over. And in this one, in this case over here, see if I can zoom in just a little bit. The frame is actually bent on that corner right there, the bottom frame. It actually caved in just a little bit, just from sitting on that unlevel surface. So what I'm going to do in this video is start building a table for that to sit on. Basically, do away with all the black parts you see there, obviously not the motor, but the base there. And going to be building it out of some 3-inch channel iron. That channel iron is again, like most of my material, it's being repurposed. It was originally upright railings on a flatbed road trailer. And so it's got some bolt holes in it where the wood railings were bolted to it. Got just a little bit of work needs to be done to it, but I think it'll make a good base for the saw. Here's one of the pieces that I'll be using. This stop that was welded onto the side of it was where this slid down in the pocket that was molded onto the side of the trailer itself. And then this was the upright. They're 40 inches long. As you can see, there's bolts through there that the wood boards were attached to this. So we're going to use the vertical bandsaw to get these bolts out of the way. All right, I'll continue that process. There's 6 of these bolts in there. I'll get that off. Got 3 pieces of the material, bolts cleared out of the material. Got them marked off. Gonna put them on the saw now and cut them to length. But I'm gonna use the mill to square off the ends of each 3 of these legs. They've got a factory end. One end is factory end on every one of them, so it's good and square. So all I need to do here is just clean up just a little off of this edge over here. This is my short side over here, so I'm just going to work to that. It looks like, well, I'm not going to try to guess of how much it is. I'm only taking 6 or 7 thousandths at a time here. It's not that bad out of square. Should have it squared up just a little bit more on the climb side. Now we've got a good square in on both ends. I'll do that to the other two legs. All right, I've got all the pieces cut out now, squared up. Got the three legs done. This is going to be the top of the base that the saw will actually sit on. This, of course, is upside down right now. And it's a little wider than the saw itself. That is intentional. I think you'll see that a little bit later when I show you how I'm going to mount the saw down to this base. But the channel iron, the legs themselves, will go like this. But they will set inside in here. So I need to mortise out this edge right here so that it will set down, set into the channel, into this channel right here. I need to do that to both ends, because on the top up here there's going to be another piece. There'll be another piece that's mortised into as well up here. So I'm going to lay out what I need to cut off as far as width wise. It will basically be the thickness of the channel itself, and also the depth. I'll get that, probably saw this to begin with, and take the majority of it out with the portable bandsaw, and then put it back on the mill and mill it flat all the way out, all the way to the outside here. To cut the mortise out for the legs, just going to use this piece of scrap right here as a guide, and lay this piece up there, keeping it flush with this side, or at least not overhanging off of this side. Now I can take the portable bandsaw and slice down to the bottom here. Then I'll turn the piece up where I can get to this end and make just a cut over here, leaving the thickness of the channel, of course, and cut those off, and then we'll go to the mill and mill it all down flat. I've got it good and secure in the vise, and on the other end down here I have a jack under there, but I'm going to come on down and touch off and set my zero. Alright, so there's the zero, and we're just going to start working our way, working that down. right, that's got the mortise done on this end. We'll bring that out where we can see it. And it's plenty warm. So that'll have a good flat surface out here. You have plenty of weld surface there and on the inside. I'll continue that process on the other legs. Okay, I have the base for the saw just kind of mocked up right now, clamped up together. Everything seems to fit fine. If it looks out of square on the video here, this clamp right here is obviously not on there straight. As I weld it up, I'll be sure everything squares up. Down here at the floor, on this side and over here, I've got another piece of channel. That's why I had to mortise both ends of these legs so that it fit inside the channel. See if I can zoom down there and give you an idea of that's mortised in there. And then the top is mortised in as well, the leg at the top. Well, it's Saturday morning, about 9 a.m. Got my honeydews done for the day. It's already 86 degrees out here, but it's definitely not going to get any cooler. The forecast high today is 97 with a heat index of 105. So I'm going to see if I can get this welded together this morning and then get back in there where the air conditioner is. Got the two back legs clamped down on there now. I'm using this 5-inch angle iron as my square block on the end. Got it clamped to the table on both sides, and then got the legs clamped to it, so it should be perpendicular with the base. And just using a framing square and checking the that it's perpendicular in this direction. Got the front leg centered up on there now. Double check the plumb one more time. That's good. think it's probably cooled off enough now that I can remove this end clamp. Now here's where a third body would come in, or a second body would come in good with a third hand, but since I don't have it, alright, if I can just keep it below that pencil mark, hold it there, and get a little tack on that side, I should be in business. Alright, I think that's pretty much got it welded up now. I may set it down on the ground, put a little bit on this leg down here on the outside. Let me do that right quick. Alright, I believe everything is welded up now. I've got it over here under shelter where it's considerably cooler out of direct sunlight. Got all the slag chipped off of it. Got a layer or a coat of paint on this with it turned up like this. Alright, while the paint is drying, finishing drying up, let's go ahead and take the base off of the existing base off the saw. And what I'm going to use for that, I'd highly encourage you, if you don't have one, to make the investment in a little engine hoist or shop crane. For the longest time I'd wanted to build a gantry crane to use in the shop, but here in this side of the shop, the original shop, I just don't have enough headspace. I mean, I can touch the ceiling right here, which is the floor to the second story of this barn. So I've got this one rigged up now. We're going to raise that up. All right, and while that's up there, I'm going to take out the 6 bolts that's holding the base in. All right, I'm not going to bore you with all that. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to lower it back down to where it's steady and get all the bolts broke loose, and then I'll pick it back up and take this base off. Before I put the new base under there, there's 4 holes I want to drill in that. Remember I said at the beginning of this video that I had laid this out wider than the saw itself. The reason for that is I'm going to use some J-hooks. The 4 holes we're going to drill in this base right here corresponds to the 4 holes on the sides here. So these J-bolts, I may have to, there we go. And that will mount the saw directly down to this base here. Obviously I may have to shim a little bit. I'm not sure how flat the bottom of this the bottom of the saw itself is, but we'll see once we get the holes drilled and get this set up. All I'm trying to do here is line up these J bolts as I let it down. Okay, I wrestled with those 4-inch long J bolts until I realized I was planning on cutting them off to begin with. So I've cut them down now to about 1 inch. I also, the holes I had drilled in the base were exactly 1/4 inch, and these are 1/4 inch J bolts. Absolutely no need of that tight of tolerance, and they were binding trying to get everything lined up. So I've drilled them out 3/64 larger now, and I think everything's going to work a little bit better now, a whole lot better. Okay, I've got a new base in here now and got the saw mounted on it. I know I'm going to be a lot more comfortable with this height. It may be too high for some folks, but for me, I don't have to bend over now, put material on and off. Handle, the tightening handle is at a good height as well. I had to make just a couple of changes. You know, I built all this in my mind 2 or 3 times before I actually got out here doing it. And some things don't come together quite like you plan them sometimes. And one of them was the J hooks. I'd originally planned to use J hooks in the holes that that mounted the saw to the original base. There's 2 problems with that. Number one, the crook on the J hook was a little too long. It was so long that it wouldn't allow the saw to set down on the new base. So what I did to overcome that is run a piece of rod through the existing holes that were in the that were used to mount it. Cut the J hooks off just a little bit, cut the hook portion of the J a little, and mounted that down. That goes through, of course, and front and back. I also had planned to, or had mentioned about using leveling feet underneath it. But one of the nice things about having a wood floor, if there's anything nice about having a wood floor, is that you can mount something down to the floor. The leveling feet on there just made it a little too unstable. So I took the leveling feet out from under it, and the holes that I had drilled and tapped for the leveling feet, I actually put a screw through into the floor. So it still rocks a little bit, but that rocks with the floor, but it's a whole lot steadier than it was on that original base that's on there. My stand that I built a few videos back, plenty enough Acme rod in that to get it up to the height. So I think it's done now. By having that front leg secured to the floor, I don't have that issue of it wanting to tilt over like I had even with the original base. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I know I'm going to like this stand a whole lot better being up this height. And we'll see you on the next video.